Hello, my name is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm reaching out to all of you beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight was earlier. And Starlight doesn't know where you are located, and I really do want you to get out in nature, but be mindful is to always make sure you're protecting your skin. And if it gets too hot, make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water, Starlight. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water. It's so vitally important. You don't want to, get heat exhaustion out there, being in the sun too long. Make sure, you plan your day out in a good way and keep an eye on the temperatures. It's good to start out in the morning time when it's cooler and, get in the shade. But it's always good to get out and get some sun, but always be mindful of how much time you're putting yourself in the sun, depending on where you're located, because different areas, is different as far as the air and the heat and the wind and all that stuff. So anyway, besides that, if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome, and you can find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. Plus, you can give this video a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, don't forget, don't be afraid, don't be shy. Swing by and say, "Hi, Starlight." And you can leave me a message down below, beep, beep, beep. Plus, don't forget the notification bell, and you can check out my playlist. Plus, you can share my videos. Share your videos with your family, your friends, anyone that you believe that they could use this message, on these my YouTube channel. Plus, you can also follow me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. So anyway, today I really want to talk to you about, we all do this at some point in our life, and so do you say that you're going to do a lot of things and then find yourself not doing the things that you said you were going to do? Guilty. Actually, yeah. Starlight is guilty. Like, I have my hand on the Bible. Yeah, I'm guilty. Yeah. So we all, can be guilty of saying, yeah, what are you going to do? So what are you going to do? What are you thinking about doing? Maybe you told your friends or family, and I have done this so many times in my life, so this video is about taking action more than just saying what you're going to do. And it's so important because, I understand it. I get it when, because this is what I do. I have done this long time ago. And like I told my family years ago, I am writing a book. Guess what, though? I wrote a book. Not that it's out there in the world for you to read, but I did. I wrote a book. Now I have to discipline myself. It's in my car, but I have to discipline myself now, is because I wrote it. Now I just wanted to get it out on paper. I wanted to get everything. Now it's just, now I got to start from the beginning and start organizing everything, getting it, figure it, so it's going to be a mess when I start doing that. So, and like when I said, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. You know how many times I said that I was going to start a YouTube channel before I actually did? And there's a lot of people that I've noticed out on social media that they have a YouTube channel, but they might have one video. That's it, one video. What happened? And it's a lot. It's a lot to do, like, videos, and did I know anything about making YouTube videos? Absolutely not. Starlight had to learn so many things, and it took time. It really did. And I still have a lot of work to do on my YouTube channel. And that's why I really, I'm not here to be perfect on my YouTube channel, not even my grammar. Imagine this, that there's people out in the world that their grammar is not perfect, but they have wisdom and knowledge that they can share and change people's lives. but there's some people out there that, they want to pick on people, and say, ooh, your grammar, really my grammar is it really about my grammar? Did you get the message in the video? So there's some people, they think they're really super smart, but they're so focused on really, the grammar, like if I spoke a different language and my grammar was off, as long as you're understanding what I am saying, you know, grammar is not everything. It's getting the message across to the people. So these are things that are expected to happen when you're a YouTuber, is that you're going to have people like that are going to nitpick. And those people there, you got to just ignore them, So, maybe you're stuck, maybe you only have like 3 videos on your YouTube channel. And fear has a lot to do with why, people are afraid to get themselves out there, to be judged by others, to be criticized by others. But that, that's just part of it. I have people that inspire me on my YouTube channel. So really the good outweighs any of the negative, like comments on my YouTube channel. So you got to really, it's not about really people pleasing, to do certain things. You might have wanted to write a book, but what happened? And I get you, because my whole life have said a lot of stuff to my family. Yeah, I'm going to do this, and what it was is, for Starlight, I would have to say, is I was hoping that people would inspire me and motivate me, help me, inspire me and motivate me to actually cheer me on and help me to, get started. That doesn't always happen. Some people might, and, they might, like I've done this to many people in my life, where I've had lots of people to come up to me and say, hey, I'm going to quit smoking. Every single time when somebody actually tells me that, I cheer them on. I'm like, hey, good. I'm happy for you. Yeah, I'm all positive. And that's what we should be, to help people out. You want to quit smoking cigarettes? And then when people tell me that, hey, you know what? I used to smoke every day, and now I'm only, like vaping, like, like a couple times now. Hey, good for you. They're doing a lot better than what they were doing. But, we need to take action on what we say we're going to do. So what I have learned the hard way is, when you're going to do something, keep it to yourself, really, is to, because then, like Starlight has done many times, is that I have told people many times that I was going to do this. And then life happens, I got distracted. Then I forgot what I even told my family. And, what did I tell my family? I forgot, And I've had family members, which is so funny, where I'm like, yes, I am going to write a book. And I said, well, every day I'm going to do an hour every day and work on this book. Well, like months later, I would have certain people that would, I would be talking on the phone, with them, and they're like, hey, how you doing on that book? And I was actually, would you believe this? Starlight was actually, I did exactly what I said. I did really good. And then God revealed that really the book was just not the way God really, it wasn't what God wanted me. It was all wrong. So I wrote a lot in that book, a lot of stuff, but it wasn't what God wanted me to write. So now I do have a book, and it's awesome, amazing. I'm excited about it. But now, now I'm saying this to you. So I have a lot of things on my plate right now, but I already have it written. So I have to work on other things first right now. But like in life, if you got something that you're working on, you gotta get going on it. You gotta take action and do those things, because talking about it isn't going to get shit done, right? Starlight knows that. I don't have it with me here in my car. I have a whole lot of goals to work on. Actually, I do have it in here. I do have a gold book in here, but I have another notebook in my car, So I have lots of things to work on. Is that you've got to, be cautious of the things that you want to, do, not to be cautious of what you're going to do, but whatever it is that you want to do, maybe you do want to write a book, or maybe you want to start back into your YouTube channel and get it going. What is your YouTube channel about? Is it to help people out and inspire them, or, because there's so many things that we can help people out in the world with, so many things, like how to make something, how to, like to cook a dish, like something to help people, that you would really enjoy and that you're really good at. Whatever your heart, what is the thing that really makes you like on fire for whatever it is that you want to do? Maybe you want to learn how to play music on a guitar, or piano. So it's easy to say all this stuff that we want to do this and I want to do that, and it is best that you can write reminders. That is what Starlight loves doing. Of course, living in my car is a little complicated, but I have a intention book, and I write intentions down every day. Or you can work on, have a calendar, say, like some kind of notebook, and say, this is what I'm working on. I'm not gonna, and this is how mine is I am gonna keep on working on this right here and stay focused on that one thing. If you got something big going on that you want to work on, but you got to start, from the bottom and work your way up to that, say, okay, this is where I need to start with this project that you got going on. I don't know what you got going on. You want to write a book. Well, figure out what is it that you want to talk about. Get it all organized. You can do that on paper. Get your thoughts, like how you want it to write your book. Figure out what do you want to put into it, and start writing. Really, just start writing, and just you can always pray before you start writing, and make sure you have a quiet space where you're not going to be interrupted, and put yourself to a challenge. Say every day, like I was doing this until my book got done, is every day, even if you did 30 minutes a day, it doesn't have to be an hour like what Starlight did. And I did really good. I was really impressed, and I did have one particular person that kept on checking up on me. Actually, before my brother was here, he actually did ask me too, when he was here, how was I doing with the book? Because he knew his sister that I had lots of crazy stories to tell, or something to help people out with. So whatever it is, maybe there's a business that you want to start. Sometimes it's better to just keep it to yourself and say, you know what, I'm going to start a business. And don't tell anybody, because they might not agree with what you're going to do. Now, I did have people, when I did say I was going to write a book, I did have people that were cheering me on, so I can't say, but when I started my YouTube channel, absolutely not. Nobody, I only had one person that was really cheering me on and was believing in me. So, it is best that if you want to start a business, be wise of who you tell, is to figure out what business that you want to start out. And Starlight had a cleaning business, so I had no clue how to get that going. I just knew how to clean. I had that down. I know how to clean. Do you got something, that you need clean? Starlight knows. Starlight, if I don't know how to clean it, I will figure it out. I will figure out how to clean whatever it is that you have dirty, There's, it's amazing. So Starlight is like, loves to have things clean. So with that is, you got to have a plan. You got to, set the goals up. But really, you might want to keep it hush, hush. That way people don't discourage you from what you want to do. They might not. A lot of times what it is, people don't believe in themselves. They don't believe they could do that. And so they could discourage you, because that's their own thing that they're dealing with in their life, that they can't see themselves doing it themselves. So they could discourage you from even getting it off the ground, and So there's so many things on the computer, like different ways that you can do business on a computer or a laptop or whatever. And if that's something that you want to do, like create music or, have a web page and start selling things, to make money or whatever, is that you got to do it now. You can't wait, you got to get it going. Get your mindset and say, you know what, I'm going to do this now. I got to get this going, and I do. I have lots of goals that I got to work on, but I'm doing one thing. I'm going to complete that goal, because Starlight was getting a little funny on this whole thing is, once you start one goal, work on it until you get it finished, because sometimes what happens, which Starlight has done this many times in her apartment, is I loved arts and crafts, and I would start one art project, and then I get another idea, and I'm like, look at what I can create here. And my brother and I, we were both doing this. He was a great artist. He could make a lot of cool stuff. So we were always back and forth, like, hey, look at this. Hey, look at that. Hey, look, like we were back and forth all the time. So, and we both were doing the same thing. We would start projects and not finish them, and then start another one. Before you know it, you got 10 projects in your house that none of them are finished. So you want to make sure that, the first thing that you got to work on, you got to start from the bottom and work your way up and figure out, okay, where's the foundation of whatever it is, is, okay, what is the most important thing that I got to, in order to pile up, and work through that, so you got to figure out what is the first most important thing and work on that until you're completed. Okay, you got it completed. Now, what's the next thing that comes after that? And you know what? Take it from me that I do know this, especially when it comes to computer stuff. You might feel like you're stuck where you're trying to do stuff on a computer and things might not work out the way you think. It could take you, like the Edison doing the light bulb, how many times, so don't worry about that. You just keep focused and keep doing it until you finish, figure out. You can Google a lot of stuff, like, whatever you're dealing with is, how to set up a web page, and then they got lots of videos, on YouTube of men and women that will help you. And so don't worry, it's not going to happen overnight. Some of you, maybe, you could be so good at, your computer skills, you could have it all done in one, you're like, oh yeah, I know how to do this, because you've done so much on your computer, because you had to go through all those struggles in order to learn how to do it, practicing and do it, so, so anyway, you got to take action. Really try to keep these things to yourself and just prove to yourself that you can do this. Like, you can write a book. Like I said, my book is already written. Right now I am like, I got to focus on these other things right now. And I know here I'm like, I got that there. It's just that I got stuff right now that's more important right now than what I have. So I have to be balanced on this and do one goal at a time. Don't get discouraged on, that you're not getting there as quick as you want. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to get there, as long as you're doing something every day, a little bit by little, So don't, because like I said earlier, if you do tell people what you're working on, they might not like what you're going to do, and they could discourage you, and you might never even start your project or whatever it is. You might be like, because it's so important to really try to keep it to yourself and have a a time set. Hey, if you got like a schedule with work, like a part-time job or something like that, or you could start like a depending on what it is, take like on the weekends when you got time away from work, and say, there, I'm, like every weekend I'm going to do it. And, you might be able to squeeze different times throughout the week, depending on your work schedule, and say, you know what, anytime I get free time, that's what I'm going to work on. And you're going to get people that are going to try to pull you away. They're not purposely pulling you away, but they might, like invite you at their house. They might invite you here and over, everywhere. Hey, do you want to go to the bar later on this weekend? So, or, if they want to have you go hiking, go out for a hike. That is a good thing to do, you know. So that is a great thing to do, is go for a hike, but you got to be, focused on what it is that you're working on, and be consistent all the time. Is just keep on working on it and don't give up. You're going to have, you're going to have obstacles. You're going to be frustrated and all that. And that's life. That is life. Just keep going. Believe in yourself, and don't stop. Just keep going until you get it, and just keep on, building up on those goals. Once you get one goal done, now you can go do the next. And that's where Starlight is. Starlight's at the bottom with my goals, that I'm, there's something I want to get done in 2025. That's why the book right now, that is not the thing that I wanted to work on in 2025. This other thing is what I really wanted to do in 2025. That's why I need to focus on this. This was my thing that I wanted to complete this year before 2026. Anyway, I really hope that really helps you out. Is, like, it's easy to talk about stuff, but it's actions speak louder than words. So action is what you really want, is to take action today and grab, get all the stuff that you need. You want to write a book, if you're going to do that on a computer, make sure you save those things. I'll tell you, Starlight was writing a book a long time ago, after I got out of the cult church. And it's horrible because I didn't know nothing about the computers at all. I just was learning about computers. And Starlight was writing all her stuff and accidentally exited out, lost all the stuff. I already had it written in a notebook, but I was transferring it to the laptop. That way I could save it, and I lost all that work. So make sure you save your work. Don't do what Starlight did. That is like that took a lot of time. I actually ended up paying my son $50 to write the whole thing out. So so anyway, and then here I couldn't even use that book either. So there goes that $50. But anyway, I love you so much. This is Starlight. You can give this video a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, don't forget, you can leave me a message down below, beep, 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 and you can share these videos, and you can share my videos with your family or friends. You can also check out my playlist, and you can follow me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, doing with Starlight. I love you all, and it's so easy to say all kinds of stuff, and this is something Starlight is still working on. I have said things in my YouTube channel a long time ago, different times. I said something, I meant to do what I said, and I got distracted. Life happened, and I'm like, whoops, Starlight, remember when you said that a long time ago that you were gonna, yeah, that's why, it's better just not to say anything to anybody until you actually get it done. So anyway, I love you so much. You can make sure you get outside and enjoy some nature out there and protect your skin. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight. Love, light, and peace.